Hello everybody, getting ready to do lesson 2.3 part 2 today of Algebra 1 Math, solving two-step equations. And you got 20 points on your class worksheet, have that ready to go. 8 points will go into your notebook or your notebook guide. Students, put your name, date, period on your phone, your tablet, your paper, your Droid, your iPhone, your iPad, your Chromebook. Page 1 today. And we start out with a classwork example. Find an input of a function. So the output of a function is 3 less than 5 times the input. Find the input when the output is 17. So write an equation for the function. Let x be the input and y be the output. And so we have y equals 5x, 5 times the input, 5x minus 3. So y is 3 less than 5 times x. 5 times the input. The input is x. That is your independent variable would be your input, which is your x or your domain. So anyway, y equals 5 3. So with that, we step 2, solve the equation for x when y equals 17. So when y equals 17, write the original. We're going to plug in 17 over here for y, then solve for x. So we have 17 equals 5x minus 3. Substitute 17 for y. We're going to add 3 to both sides. We're going to start isolating our x here. So 3 to both sides. And when we do that, what do we got? We got 20 equals 5x. Now what do? We have to divide each side by 5. And when we do that, that's going to go away. And then 20 divided by 5 is 4. So x equals 4. And then we're check here. We plug back in 4 back into the original. 5 times 4 minus 3, does that equal 17? 20 minus 3 is 17. So 17 equals 17. So it does check. So an input of 4 produces an output of 17. So you plug in 17, you plug in 4 for x, and you see if it checks out. And it did check out, so there it is. Let's go into our guided now. So our guided practice, the output of a function is 5 more than -2 times the input. Find the input when the output is 11. And you got a real similar question down here, students, on your independent practice. Let's do it up here. So the output of a function is 5 more than -2 times the input. So our input is x. So -2x plus 5 more than that. Find the input when the output is 11. So now we're going to plug in 11 for y. There it is, -2 times the input. So when we plug in 11 for y, we get 11 equals -2x plus 5. Now we're going to solve for x now. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, -2x minus 5 plus 5. And then we have 11 minus 5 on the left side. And then when we do that, we have 6 equals -2x. We solve for x by dividing through by -2. These cancel. 6 divided by 2 would be -3 equals x. So now we did solve. So when x equals -3, y should equal our original output. So solve a multi-step problem here. Scuba diving. As a scuba diver descends into deeper water, the pressure of the water on the diver's body steadily increases. So the pressure at the surface of the water is 2,117 pounds per square foot. The pressure increases at a rate of 64 pounds per square foot for each foot the diver descends. Find the depth at which a diver experiences a pressure of 8,517 pounds per square foot. So first write a verbal model, then write an equation. So pressure at given depth equals pressure at surface plus rate of change of pressure times diver's depth. So here is our verbal model for this word problem up here. So once we have our verbal model, we can plug in pressure at given F, P equals 2,117 at the surface plus 64 rate of change of pressure pounds per square foot per foot of depth. So for every foot, it increases 64 pounds per square foot times diver's depth, D. When we have all that information, we can find the pressure. So find the depth at which the pressure is 8,517 pounds per square foot. So pressure equals 2,117 plus 64D. That's our equation. So we want to know at what depth we have 8,517. And to do that, we plug in that for P and then solve for D. So when we do that, we subtract 2,117 from both sides. What we end up with is 6,400 equals 64. And then when we solve for D with those numbers, we divide through by 64 on each side. And what we come out with is 100 equals D. So the depth of the water is 100 feet for that pressure. And we plug it in to check it out here. 2,117 plus 64D. Does that equal 8,517? And when we work it out here, it does indeed. 64 times 100 plus 2117 does equal 8517. So the solution checks. Let's go into a guided now. And we have what if, in example 4, suppose the diver experiences a pressure of 5,317 pounds per square foot. So find the diver's depth. So that's our guided. And then your independent is here, students. How many hours did you work? So figure it out. Anyway, we're going to do it right now. So what if, in example 4, suppose a diver experiences a pressure of 5,317 pounds per square foot. Find the diver's depth. So to do that, we're going to first write a verbal model, then write an equation. So pressure at given depth equals P, and then we know pressure at surface is 2,117 plus rate of change of pressure is 64 pounds per square foot per foot of depth. And we got 5,317, and then diver's depth will be D. So we're going to plug in, 5,317 equals 2017 plus 64D, and then we're going to solve for D to find the depth, which the pressure is 5,317. So we're going to start isolating our D here by subtracting 2117 from both sides. When we do that, we end up with 3,200 equals 64D. To solve for D, we divide through by 64 on both sides. When we do that, these cancel. D equals 50. 50 feet would equal D. That would be our solution for that question. And the diver's depth is 50 feet. Thank you very much. And that's your lesson for today. Animated PowerPoint math video at AOL.com for questions or course materials. Thank you very much.